Love story. Marimos Mota, I got your message. There was something you wanted to talk to me about. Thank you for coming, meeting me. You know how hard it can be for me to get away. Let's get this straight to it. I need a small but timely favor. Nothing, I'm just happy to help. If there's something I can do for you, I'll do it. Could use more wizards like you. Listen closely and I'll explain exactly what I need. I see you want me to deliver a gift to Professor McGonagall. Precisely, I knew you were a good listener. I wouldn't trust an owl with a package this fragile and rare. I know you're just happy to help, but I can't put you to all this trouble without offering you a little something in return. I'll set up a romantic evening for you and a chosen date at the Three Broomsticks. I'll get you the package on your way out. Just deliver it to McGonagall. This time of the year, she's often spends her few moments by the lake shore. Then I'll head to the lake shore and deliver your package. Professor McGonagall, Mademoiselle Mota said I'd find you here. I'm surprised to hear you're looking for me. I trust everything's alright. I've come here to deliver a package. She didn't say what it is, only that it was quite importantly and timely. Thank you for bringing this to me. It was my pleasure. To be honest, offered an arrange a special date for me and whoever I choose in return. That sounds magnificent. Yes, I'm all tired. Alright, in fact, I'm quite happy. As I'm sure you know by now, some forms of happiness have a pinch of sadness mixed in. It can't be helped. You haven't upset me. If you will spare me a moment of your time, I can explain. I didn't know you had lost a husband. You've never mentioned him before. In the habit of sharing my personal life with students. You have caught me in a candid mood, and it's been nice to talk with you about. We are actually standing on the very spot where Elphinstone proposed. Those memories keep me company as I walk the path we once walked together. Wonderful spot, but I had no idea it was such a romantic history. And I had 3 perfect years together before he was taken by a venomous tentacular bite. Perhaps now you can understand why I insist you and your fellow students take your herbology classes seriously. It was a sad end, but I would be lying if I said his memory left me feeling anything but content. I hope the sadder parts of my story didn't sour your day. I'm just happy you had that time together. Like you said, it's not how long we have, but how we spend it. Part of the joy of sharing stories with people is that you always learn a bit about the people you share them with. You have a date to plan and I have a gift to open. You'd better hurry along. I'll leave you to Mademoiselle Mota's gift. I've been hoping you'd show up. Is something wrong? It's an emergency. A horrible curse. I've been struck with an unbearable boredom hex. But surely you're in the middle of an epic quest I can help with. I'll let you decide if it's epic. In exchange, Mana's Mota has given me a date, a special dinner at Three Broomsticks. But before you ask, I won't be able to join you myself. Dennis has been a bit sick, so I'm tending to him. I'm sure I can help you find the perfect date. You're right about the gift, whatever it was. It seemed to put McGonagall in a curious mood. Upon receiving it, she told me a love story from her life. She claimed one joy of telling stories was that they can teach you about the person you share them with. How's that? Everyone's here. You can share McGonagall's story with them all and learn a bit about everyone. If you don't, perhaps you'll learn something that will help you narrow down your choices. Listen up, Dr. Stan has a brilliant love story to tell you about McGonagall. The stage is yours. And when I spoke to her, she was walking down along the lake shore where her husband proposed. I had no idea McGonagall lived such an interesting life. Then again, this is part. It's easy to forget professors aren't just professors. Now let's hear what everyone else's thinks. Then we can get started on preparing for your special night. Seems everyone had a very different opinion about McGonagall's love story. I hope you were able to keep track. I think so. Mila wanted more. Andre loved the idea of a perfect match. It was wildly romantic. Talbot was curious about and tight-lipped. Bonnier was elated. Char was cryptic but charmed. Betty said it was a sad, beautiful image, whereas Jay seemed to want a happier ending. And I think we gained some insight into each witch and wizard here. So tell me, what now that romance is in there, who will you ask to join? I'm a loyal man. I stick with the one, the only. You're right, Penny is perfect. If that's your choice, you'd better hurry up and ask. Are you certain? Ow. Yes, I'm certain. I want Penny to be my date. Hurry on to the clock tower courtyard. What's in the courtyard? Your dates, of course. I'll send Penny there so you can ask her in private. It's going to be perfect. I love the story you told us about McGonagall, so romantic. Tulip said you had something to ask me. I offered to arrange a private romantic evening for two at the Three Broomsticks. I wondered if you might like to join me. For you to ask me on something like this. And I may have just figured out how to make our date extra special. Your story about Professor McGonagall gave me an idea. Hear me out. I think you'll love it. I see you want us to gather love stories from other witches and wizards so we can share them on our date. Delicious meal, warm butterbeer, and share some great love stories by candlelight. I just love how dedicated she still is to her husband. The idea of those memories, keeping her company, all of that. Bittersweet and serendipity. I'm with you, devotion is the most important part, and I'm sure we won't have to look hard at all to find a few brilliant love stories. You should have no trouble finding a few unique romantic stories. Once we both have enough, we can meet back here and head to our date together. Since love is a delicate dance, I'll talk to one of Hogwarts' most beloved dancers. I bet I'll find him in a dueling club. Hello, do you have a moment to talk? I'm gathering great love stories to share on a date. I thought you might have a great love story. I have many great stories. I'm sure I can help. I've been waiting all day for someone to come by and spar with me, and you are the first person to show up. I don't actually get to duel him. What the hell? That's quite an epic love you described. That kind of lifelong devotion is really something, but if you don't mind me asking, who is your story about? Object of my love was obvious, but if you need to spell it out, my story was about dance, of course, my lifelong devotion on the transcendent art of dance. I'm not sure a story about your love of dance is exactly what my date had in mind, but it's one of the greatest love stories of all time. Yes, it's an excellent love story, but I'll need more than one story to share for my date. I understand your need perfectly. I even think I know someone who can help. If you're looking for someone more traditional, you may try talking to Charlie Weasley. I learned a bit about the Weasley's history when I helped Arthur gather flowers. Perhaps Charlie could tell me something more specific. Perhaps you can help me. Certainly, if you have any questions about dragons, I'd be happy to give it a go. Great love stories to share on my date at the Three Broomsticks. Diego thought you may have a good story. Your father shared some of the histories with me. I thought you might be able to tell me a more specific story. You know, I always want to help you when I can, but a love story about my parents is maybe the last thing on earth I want to think about. I'm not upset. You don't have to tell me anything that makes you uncomfortable. I may not have the stomach for a story about my parents, but I know one that will thrill you and your date. Let me make sure I understand what you said. You told me a story about two dragons, a love story. But it was about a male being chased off by a female and wreaking havoc on the Scottish countryside. That's not a love story. Are you joking? What's not to love? I was just saying that a great love story needs to have some form of devotion, not just fading. I panicked and told you a story that I love, but not a love story. I'm afraid the truth is I'm just not that experienced in love. Perhaps I need to look elsewhere for a great love story, but where? Everyone I've talked to so far has a bit of one-track mind. Do you know what I do when I'm looking for great stories? Lucky for me, many of the best dragon stories are recorded in books. I bet the same is true for love. I'll head there now and see what I can find. Please be careful. There must be something I can do to get you to stop pawing over all these books. Of course, perhaps you can help me search. I'm looking for a few books on love so I can gather the wisdom in the world's greatest love stories. Where you should look, and it certainly isn't here. Follow me. Thank you, Madam Pince. You have done as you promised. You must be quite pleased that you asked for my help. Without it, you might never have found them, but I'm concerned these books might be a bit academic. These might be good for a report on love, but Penny is excited to share romantic stories. I'm afraid the books in a library are supposed to be academic. If you are looking for something more entertaining, you might try to a place like Flourish and Plots. I'm wondering if you may help me find a few books. Perhaps we'll have even more than a few. Looking for great love stories to share on a date. I tried the Hogwarts Library, but they are, well, a bit stuffy. You'll find no shortage of unstuffy books here. Just tell me one thing so I can point you in the right direction. We have all sorts of love stories here. Do you prefer novels, histories, or poetry? Poetry could be a good place to look for great love stories. To begin, I'll get you a small stack. We'll then search for a few based on your suggestion. We have found so many books about love, my arms are overflowing. You said you wanted to read poetry, and poets are simply in love with love. There's always more to say about it. You don't think they are too popular, do you? Because while we are gathering these, I notice almost everyone here has read and loved them. Those books are beloved. They are widely popular. I think it's fair to say you'll be in the know after you read them. These are the great love stories. You won't find any that are better known than these. I suppose that's the problem. I might need stories that are a bit less familiar. Penny said she wanted great stories, but she also said they should be unique, something to just us. I see your problem. If you want something truly unknown, I'm afraid these won't do. They're still quite good though, so I hope you'll just buy a few. As Bill didn't tell me, I'd be happy to, but it's a bit personal. Perhaps we should go somewhere a little more discreet. Meet me in the Leaky Cauldron, and I'll tell you a completely unknown and totally unforgettable story. Glad we could talk. I've been trying to gather love stories for my date, but I haven't found one that's right yet. It's unique and unknown, like you asked for, but it's also a bit personal, which is why I appreciate you agreeing to meet me away from work. Before I begin, I should say this story is something of a secret, so you must be discreet. What do you say? Can I trust you to keep this story between you and your date? Of course you can trust me, whatever it is, your secret's safe with me. Sit back for a tale that's sure to intrigue your date. So you've been receiving love letters from a secret admirer? My admirer hides notes in all kinds of books. I never know where I'm going to find the next one. Never suspected one in a bookstore would be so romantic. I don't know who your secret admirer is. That's precisely why I have to keep the story quiet. It's better not to not know. I agree, there's something quite grand about the surprise of it all. Your story will certainly make for a good conversation on my date. Thank you. I'll need one or two more good love stories like that. I know who you should talk to, Celestina Wilbeck. Yeah, she's a regular. She's staying incognito for a short while at the Three Broomsticks. A bit more public than mine, but it will be quite different to hear them from her directly. I'm sure you'll find her story to be fascinating and the perfect thing to share on your date if you head to the Three Broomsticks now. Yes, it's nice to see you again. I certainly owe you after you helped me reignite my creative flame. I'm gathering love stories to share on a date after telling me one of your own. Madame Valinel said you might have a story. Before we talk, you may have noticed that despite my disguise, the room is starting to stir. Help me thin out the curious crowd a bit before they swarm me. There we are. The more eager members of the gathering crowd have headed back to Hogsmeade Station. Perhaps we can talk now. You did excellent work. I should keep you around more often. Straight from Sid and Sorceress herself, the love song of Celestina Warbeck. My love story is actually a story of many loves. I first fell in love with a backup dancer, but that love faded. Don't be afraid because I fell in love with my manager, my future husband, and the father of my son. He and I had a wonderful few years, but then I met Ivan Warble, the brilliant composer. He pursued me diligently, and then I gave in to temptation. He was a love like I'd never known before. Of course, to it as widely and as deeply about love as I do my music, I need experience. Sounds to me like you were just never faithful, but I draw inspiration straight from my life, and far as I'm concerned, love has no limit. To love as it comes, I benefit in both art and love. I disagree. Love may be limitless, but still benefits to sticking with the right person. But not in the way I chose to live. Perhaps we are built differently. I admire your conviction. Now I really must be going. Thanks for your story. It was a pleasure talking with you. Farewell. I hope you'll forgive me for eavesdropping. Zeno, what a surprise. It's good to see you. I overheard the conversation with Rollback, and it's made me quite worried. If you'll meet me outside, there's something urgent I'd like to speak with you about. Thanks for agreeing to talk. You said there was something urgent. I must strongly disagree with your personal ideas about love. I've heard that you are gathering stories. Sharing stories is an essential art passed down by the Druids, who were actually ancient aliens. I couldn't simply let you share that story on your date. So you brought me out here to tell me there are other ways of thinking. I thought perhaps I could offer a story of my own for your project. Tell me your love story. Mr. Lovegood, thank you for sharing that story. Rather than moving from love to love, your story about letting love take root and grow over time. No matter what happens, our love will endure. It will carry with me. It's good we bumped into one another. I'm sure my date will be interested. They are quite different experiences, which is all I really hope to communicate. When you're young, it's important to know what's out there. But I wonder, of course, of the two perspectives on love, mine and Celestina's, which is closer to your own. I'm with you. I'm only interested in one great love. I think you will find its reward only grow the longer you are together. For sharing your story with me, now that I have enough to share on my dates, I'd better get going. My date asked me to meet them in the courtyard. Watch, it looks to me like you're looking for someone. Perhaps I can help. I'm supposed to meet Penny here, but I don't see her anywhere. After gathering stories to share, we're going to head to the Three Broomsticks. I've been here for some time. I haven't seen her. I'm sure she's alright. It's not letting me choose an option. I'm a bit worried, but I don't think she'd just stand me up. It's alright. There's gotta be a reasonable explanation. And there are plenty of other students here. Surely someone saw something. You say you saw my date studying in the library. I saw the person you were asking about there, yes. And it wasn't long ago. I'll head to the library right now. Back so soon. I hope you are all done with your search. Please let me know how I can help. I'm just looking for my date. We were meant to meet in the courtyard. You haven't seen Penny by chance? That's exactly who I was just talking to you about. She just ran off and she left to create a mess when she did. Some of you don't realize how important tidiness is to a functioning library. Perhaps I could take a look at the materials that was left behind. That might give me a clue. I have plenty of higher priority jobs to do, so have at it. All of these materials seem to have the one subject in common, elixir of life. Do you know anything about that? I'm the librarian. These books are in my care. I'm quite familiar with them all, but the elixir of life is not something I'm going to describe to you. This could point me to where my date has gone. There must be something I can do to get you to help. I can't pick an option. There you go. If you help me, I'll put all these books away. Alright, if you are willing to help me, perhaps I will help you. The elixir of life is a rare and controversial substance produced by the philosopher's stone. It is said to prolong the life of the drinker indefinitely. But I must advise you to put the subject out of your mind. It will bring no good fortune, only danger. I hope you don't expect my help. Only a very unscrumptious adult would help a student to track down the elixir of life. I happen to know one who trades in rare substances. I bet he will be able to tell me more. I'll head to Nocturne Alley. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. Hello there, come to shop my wares. Actually, you looking for my date? I got stood up and I think it has something to do with the elixir of life. That means I'm on the right track. Yeah, fortunately I was out of supply then, but you're in luck. I just restocked and I have a bottle of the Elixir of Life right here. Why are you saying you don't trust me? Of course I don't trust you. After all, it's a bit convenient that you suddenly have one. There's no harm in being good at one's job. Now, if you are curious, I can offer you this handy dandy elixir, but you'd better decide fast. And for that price, I'm sure you won't mind if I inspect the bottle first. After careful examination, I'm starting to think this might not be the elixir of life. I knew not to trust you, and what you just said about where the elixir comes from proves it. What you're talking about, the elixir comes from a fruit. Everyone knows that. I'm afraid that not. Madam Pin said, elixir of life comes from the philosopher's stone. But you can't blame me for trying. The truth is, some of us have started to suspect the elixir of life is just a myth. What I can't figure out is why my date would stand me up all of a sudden and rush off in such a hurry. It's tempting to think you might be able to control how your story ends. That's an interesting choice of words. The whole thing started with Professor McGonagall's love story. Perhaps this need for elixir of life has something to do with Professor McGonagall's story. Then perhaps I'd better head back to Hogwarts and talk to Professor McGonagall. May I have a word? I'm in a confusing situation. Tell me what's wrong. My date and I were so touched by your love story. We set off together love stories of our own. We were supposed to meet up and share them after we were done. I believe she's gone in search for the elixir of life, but I'm not sure why and I don't know what to do. You are. Teachers aren't inflicted with the conjunctivitis curse. We can see what's in front of us. And you're not the first person today I've had to warn about the dangers.
Oh.
No, I saw the mess of books in the library, talked to Madam Pince, and sought out the culprit. So my date is in search of the elixir. Can you tell me why? There are a few things about the elixir of life that I should make perfectly clear to you. Thank you for telling me about the elixir of life. I see now why you're so concerned. Young people in love often experience strong feelings that they want to last forever and not stay. It's easy to become enamored with the idea of things like the elixir of life, but the cost of such pursuits is often greater than the rewards. Either my date didn't get the full picture or something made her think the danger was worth it. Mundungus thought something may have spooked her. I wonder if the idea of the story ending sadly drove her to try and stop the same thing from happening to us. But I'll let your date speak for her motivation. I'll only add that all good things do eventually end. Each moment is a gift and one we would be wise to savor. But that reminds me, I'll start with a gift, Madame Musmota. Did you ever open it? I'll admit I am a bit curious. It was a very thoughtful gift, a teapot from Madame Paddlefoot's tea shop. It was a very tea shop she used to serve me and my husband. When we used to go there, he proposed to me countless times in that tea shop before I finally accepted. If you loved him, why did you wait so long to accept? Kind's gift is a nice reminder of those happy times in my life. But the best gift of all is the time you have together. Enjoy what you have while you can. I wish I could do exactly that, what you're saying, and enjoy a night with my date right now, but I'm not sure how to do that. I've been looking all over. She didn't say where she was going when she left, only that it was where she should have been all alone. If that means what I hope it means, then no worry, I'll find her. Madam was motively pulling a lot of effort. And speaking of dates, Penny, there you are. I've been waiting for you. I've been looking all over for you. McGonagall said you had gone where you should have been all along. I got wrapped up in something and searching for the elixir of life. I didn't realize how much time had passed. It's a long story I can explain. So Mundungus was right while researching love stories. You got spooked by what you saw. That ended too soon. It all started to feel so tragic. They all had the kind of devotion you said makes a great love story. And his wife, Ponella, I learned about the elixir of life. I thought perhaps we could use it to make sure you and I don't have a happy ending. And then we could be together forever, so that's why you went to in search of it. You were scared our time together would someday end. It was a fairly desperate search, but Professor McGonagall caught wind of it rather quickly. She pointed out that I'd become so distracted with my pursuit, I was letting my actual time with you slip right by. She also said that all good things end. That's what makes them have the meaning. I only hope that you can forgive me. I forgive you. You were only trying to help. I went about everything wrong. All this time I spent looking for the elixir of life I could have spent with you. I'm afraid my search for the elixir kept me from finding any truly great love stories. I've got us covered. I heard more than enough to get us through tonight. Now tell me more about this gift. Your favorite of your love stories? I enjoyed Zeno's love good story the most. It was a story of enduring a singular love. He loved his wife. Since the day he met her, she was the only one for him. They spent years together, deepening their love, and she's touched every part of his life. Thanks to all the time they shared, that no matter what happens, she will always be with him. It's a cracking story, and hearing it, I couldn't stop thinking just how special you are to me. The story of Penny and Darkos, how sweet, but are you sure about that? After all, you haven't heard the stories yet. I'd better cozy up to you and listen to every single love story you heard, but before I start, I want to give you a gift. It's a custom lockbox. I thought we could write some of these stories down and you can store them in here. That way you'll always remember tonight.